Hello everyone, welcome back to Liquid Talent TV. Today's special guest is Michael Farber, the co-founder of The Breakout. Michael, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Good to see you.
How are things going in your world?
Hectic, but it's a good hectic. It's a lot of things are changing. It's exciting to be here with you today, and one of the guys in our community.
Yeah.
And here in New York City, especially over the past few years, it's been explosive. With all the growth in the different areas. You just look at the amount of investment that's actually on a huge uptick in New York City. We're nowhere close to the Bay, but
in terms of tech VC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. I mean, my job is to meet with bright and interesting people every day, and learn a little bit from them. So I feel like I'm just lucky to be a sponge.
What do you think differentiates New York from the Bay in terms of the investment scene? Why is it not as big as the Bay, and why do you see the trend going up and to the right for New York? What are the things that speak to you?
I mean, 08, 09 was a tough time for us all, and I think that just quite traditionally people came to New York City to be in banking and finance, and it was just quite simply that. But I think, as the 2000, the tech industry was still somewhat new, especially here in New York City. But in the past few years, I mean, just you look at, I'm sure we all have friends that were in finance or real estate, and we're hearing from these other entrepreneurs what they were up to, and I think it finally ticked them over the edge. So I think when you look at a lot of the companies that have come out, the successful companies like Warby and others, it's really only been 2009, 2010, 2011 where they really started. And so I think people, instead of getting their MBAs and just coming back into private equity, they've decided to really take a run at building a business. So I think a lot of the entrepreneurs you're meeting here, are coming from these traditional ranks, and they're just dissatisfied. So it's just a different philosophy and mindset.
The opportunity is so massive, right?
It's huge.
So when you left your job, your 9 to 5, and started your own company, what was the impetus, or how did you get to that place where I'm going to start my own thing? Because a lot of our viewers, I think, are either just starting their businesses or thinking about starting a business. Walk us through that path.
Yeah, I mean, I'm case in point, kind of what I was just explaining. I was in commercial real estate, and that's what I did out of college, and it was during the boom times. It was exciting, but it certainly wasn't fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
And early on, got an opportunity to join a pretty exciting startup, and really it was just hit my peak. I'd gone through 5 different layoffs and was still there, but it was a really tough time to be around in a tough industry. So I took a risk to join this startup that was started by a father and son team, and in 4 years we grew it to 100-person company, and it was one of the fastest growing companies last year in New York City, and that was just an incredible opportunity, and we learned a lot from it. But you just have to take a walk off the pirate's plank. I mean, it's really as simple as that. I mean, you can sit there all day long saying, is it the right time? Should I go to business school? And should I try working on it a little bit on the side?
Right.
But unless you actually leave, you're never going to make it. I mean, you just have to take the plunge. The first year is going to be tough. It's going to be a roller coaster ride, and you just have to get ready. So, with the Breakout, we did the same thing. We started all over. We kind of hit what we wanted to accomplish with the past company, the predecessor company. But my partner and I, in December, we decided we weren't, once again, weren't satisfied, and I guess being serial entrepreneurs, we left in January and just had to take the big risk all over again.
Hit the ground running. I was lucky enough to attend one of their events, the Breakout events this year. Tell us a little bit about the Breakout. What is the Breakout, and why are you doing it?
Sure. Well, the Breakout's a New York City based company, and it focuses around business leaders and entrepreneurs, and predominantly under 40, but there's not an age requirement. And in a predecessor company, I was overseeing 250 events a year, and we were doing national retreats, local retreats. And I think on the national scale, a problem that we saw was, there's a lot of events out in the market, and there's a lot of great ones. And I think sometimes the problem is, you attend something for 2 days, you get this great high, you meet this great group, and then you come back and you go back to your desk, you go back to your office, and it's business as usual. And we wanted to build something where we could build a really great cohesive community here in New York City, but we really wanted it to be a 365-day-a-year community where people could, come together and learn from each other and grow both professionally and personally. And we just didn't feel like there was an ecosystem for that. When you're growing your own company, you have all these challenges and issues, and whether it's hiring a new COO or a new HR manager or going through an investment round, and these are topics and questions you really just can't go to your employees and talk about. I mean, you're the captain of the ship. They're looking for you to have all the answers. Right. So, we really built up a community where, leaders can go to other leaders and, kind of gain trust through, these retreats that we do out of the city, but come back and have these intimate forums where they can ask each other these questions and really kind of be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Yeah. Exactly. So we just saw that there was a big need for it, and we just found that a lot of the industries here in New York City were just very siphoned off. I mean, entrepreneurs do a great job of looking to each other, but the word entrepreneur cuts across every major sector and industry. Yeah. And we really wanted to bring together people, not just in the tech space, but if you're running a charter school in Brooklyn, you have the same issues. You're hiring teachers, you're raising investment from VCs, and we just thought that these different areas could really learn from each other. Yeah.
I guess one of my questions would be why? Why add all this value? Why do all of this for these entrepreneurs in this community? What is the goal for you and Graham at the Breakout? I mean, it's an incredible service.
Sure.
And incredible people. I got so much out of it. But why are you guys doing this? What is it? What's it for you?
Yeah, so we were previously, we've been kind of in the curating game for a bit. Yeah. In a previous life, we were doing something somewhat similar, but we co-built a company that focused on kind of business leaders, but in the 45 to 65-year-old category. And these were guys that were great, but they'd really built their empires. They already kind of had all their investors, and they were high net worth individuals. So they kind of
they were good.
They were good. They would pat us on the back and say it was great to see you, and we just felt like if we're going to spend all this time in building community and business, we wanted to feel good about it. We wanted to do it for a group that was still taking on new partners, taking on new risks, and we just felt like we're just in the third inning here with the entrepreneurial scene. There's just so much, and I think it's exciting to see a cohesive group here in the city over the next 5 to 10 years what they can do. Yeah. And look, we're not a nonprofit. We're trying to build a real business here. Yeah. And we have a few things that we have that we can see that can really build that. So one is building a physical home for the community, having our own clubhouse space, where we can engage with forums and all sorts of just kind of private events, but really, merge the community even tighter than it already is. So yeah, I mean, for us, it's we really see that it's New York City. I mean, there's endless amazing people, whether it's creative types, finance types, tech, art, music.
So many dots to connect.
There's so many dots. I love when people drop, oh, it's such a small world, and yeah, of course, every circle gets smaller and smaller. But the great thing about New York City is you might just be in this one circle, but there's hundreds and thousands of circles that need to be connected.
Right.
And
you can help architect. You can help draw that up. That's a really exciting opportunity.
It's exciting for us.
Michael, congratulations on the Breakout success. I'm really excited to see where this goes over the next few years.
Congratulations to yourself.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Michael.